Welcome to episode number 366 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for all of you marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. You can find us by searching for Beyond Social Media Show. We're recording on November 13, 2021. A lot of things to talk about this week, including Blue Twitter, Icelandverse, TikTok Creative Exchange, voice SEO, email engagements, recruitment content marketing, Arby's vodka, Apple's ad arbitrage, Instagram poaching TikTok, Wild West casts, and the state of email marketing. You want to stick around for some stats on the state of email marketing, but we kick it off with the best story of the week. As usual, BL has that honor. BL, what was the best story of the week?
Well, it's debatable that a lot of people agree with this, but I thought Twitter's new Twitter Blue, which is a $2.99 a month subscription service, was really worth trying, and I like it so far. So this story is from two places. One is from Twitter and the other is from The Verge, where Jay Peters wrote about it. And so now in your profile menu on your Twitter app, and I think it's only on the app, I'm not sure if it was online too, but you can sign up for Twitter Blue. You pay $2.99 a month, and you will still see ads on Twitter. But honestly, I mean, people were complaining about that, but I don't care about that. I don't see them anyway. And when I do see them, I just go away. So an active Twitter Blue subscription gives you access to a bunch of features. Chief among them is you can undo your tweet. So you're able to set a timer for how long you want before your tweet is posted so that you have a chance to look. And for me, this is like a really big thing because a lot of times I have spelling errors. You get a chance to correct them. And you're allowed to put your bookmarks in folders, which is definitely helpful. There's a special reader where you can read threads, and they have a list of top articles that are being the most discussed articles of the day in a particular thread. And then probably the biggest deal here is that you can read articles ad-free in Twitter Publishers Network partners, not the ones where they're behind a paywall and you need a subscription, but most of them have, like, you have a certain number of free articles a month. So you're able to go in there. And so participants include the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Atlantic, Rolling Stone. There's a huge number of media participants. And then there's something called Twitter Lab, and you'll have access to new Twitter features and be able to give feedback before they go live. And you can get the most up-to-date list of what's available for your device by just looking at following Twitter Blue on Twitter. And as they note, free Twitter is not going away. It's just an opt-in layer of customization. And the undo button is really, I think, the most helpful. I can think of a few times when I might have been saved from an embarrassing typo. And I haven't been able to figure this one out, but you can customize your navigation bar so that you can pin areas of the app that you want to have more easily accessible. And you can customize only in iOS right now, but it will be coming to Android pretty soon. So I don't know, have you tried it, Dave?
I haven't tried it. I don't see the point. I mean, I don't want to pay $2.99 to undo stuff. So that's
No,
not.
it's more than that. It really is, and
Yeah.
it makes the way that you use it. It has layers to it, and Twitter is my main social network, and so I certainly don't mind supporting it in that way.
Yeah, I mean the content, getting access to content that I probably would pay more for elsewhere that's certainly valuable. Didn't Twitter buy Scroll?
Yeah, they did, and
So
that's
that's
why
part
you
of
can
that
have
content.
the ad-free stuff, and you're not paying for scroll in that case,
So
which
maybe I
is.
should do that because I'm paying for Scroll right now. Maybe I should just pay for Twitter Blue and I'll get Scroll with it, and that'll be
Yeah,
half
you will.
price
And actually, I
probably.
can stop paying for scroll. Yeah, Twitter owns it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is so the one thing that I would pay for that it doesn't sound like they have, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, is the ability to search my lists about what people are talking about within my lists.
They have not done that, and they have not made it possible for you to tweet to a list, which is completely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that is
I'll pay when they
totally
start doing
missing.
that. That's what
Yeah.
I'll wait for that.
Well, I think it will be coming because they know what people want.
You know,
And
apparently not. We've been complaining about this for. I'm sure we're not the only ones
years,
for
yeah,
years.
years. But I don't, what I don't want an undo. I want spell check. And I think undo is going to allow, some bad things to happen. So spell check is fine, but in this case, if you pay, you can actually undo your tweet,
You
but not after you do it. You'd have to delete it
you have to do it before you have to undo before it's supposed
before
to.
you do.
Undo before you do. Got it. Um, so we talked about. Did we talk about it last time? I can't remember. Facebook changing its name to
Yeah,
Meta.
we
Uh,
didn't talk about it
we
last
didn't talk
time,
about
but
yeah. So they changed their name to Meta so that they could change everybody's. Look, a squirrel. It's, redirect everybody's attention away from everything else that Facebook is doing wrong. But everybody's going to call it Facebook. Nobody's going to call it Meta. I've seen one. I think Bloomberg started referring to it as Meta now, but it's like Google changing its name to Alphabet.
meta is the Hebrew word for death. So apparently Mark Zuckerberg did not pay attention in Hebrew school.
Well, there's a long list of science fiction writers who have envisioned what the metaverse looks like. Probably starting with maybe William Gibson, the original cyberpunk, and then Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's such a brilliant novel, but it's all about metaverse. And HBO will be making a series out of it too, so we have that to look forward to. So
But it's
they,
still going to be Facebook, and Facebook is still going to be a polluted stream. That's
well,
all there is to
it's
it.
the I Facebook has got Oculus, and they've been working at. They put a lot of money behind developing, for developers and stuff to make this happen. So it's not just a PR thing. But the last thing in the world I want is for Zuckerberg to be in charge of the metaverse.
Right, exactly. I mean, if somebody else was going to do it, I would think about it, but it's just a way to get absolutely more control over your information than they even have now. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm done with Facebook. I don't even go there anymore.
Well, I mean, the reason they want to do that is because they don't have access. They don't have a closed loop system the way Apple does with its own hardware and its own software, and the way that Google does with Android and in its ecosystem, and Facebook doesn't have that. So that's a reason why they're putting a lot of money behind Oculus, is because that's some hardware, and that's eventually can turn into a closed loop system. Yeah, again, I don't want Zuckerberg in charge of the metaverse. I do think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but
Oh, it's going to
hopefully,
happen, and it's going to be great when it does, really. I think that, I mean, it's something we've been talking about since the internet existed, the possibility of this kind of immersive experience, but not through them.
yeah. So they did their announcement. Zuckerberg did his announcement of the name change, and had his product launch basically of Metaverse with him in the Metaverse, and it was lampooned widely. And among the most the most brilliant lampoons is from Iceland. This is from a New York Post article by Will Fuhrer, who reports that Iceland's tourism board, or somebody related to tourism in Iceland, created a video featuring a Zuckerberg lookalike named Zach Mossbergson, and identified as Iceland's chief visionary officer. And throughout the parody, they poke fun at Zuckerberg's stiffness. He said, "Hello and welcome to this very natural setting. Today
He's
I
like
want
a
to talk to you.
cyborg.
Today I want to talk to you about a revolutionary approach to connect our world without being super weird." And then they go through all the things that Iceland has to offer: water, which is wet, and he holds up his hand with water. And horses you can ride and touch their hair, so it's
That's
the real
funny.
world that they're. It's just it's very funny. We'll put the tourism video in the show notes for people to watch. But there you go.
It looked like Zuckerberg was their simulated human
Yeah.
before he went into the metaverse. Just anytime you see him, I think of him as a simulated human. So anyway, TikTok's launching a new program to connect creators with brands. I think this is actually very smart. It's an option to facilitate brand and creator partnerships. And so it's a creative exchange platform. And it's going to let brands pitch a campaign brief, and then creators can respond to it. And then TikTok will help you arrange content deals. And the source of this is Social Media Today, Andrew Hutchinson. And so it matches what it does. They call it a one-stop platform to make the entire creative production process simple and seamless. The idea is that you in the first phase of it, it's available to a limited set of advertisers, and you join the pilot launch and you get creative expertise and support from TikTok free of charge right now. And TikTok says how it works. The package includes, you get 2 creative concepts that, you submit a brief. There's a form where you submit a brief of what you're trying to do, and then you get 2 creative concepts that will lead to 6 to 8 new videos for your business. And they have a range of creators who they have in their database, and they'll help to match them, and you'll get music from their library. Then you get to brainstorm with the partners on creative concepts and video scripts, and 1 round of revision after post-production, and your creative assets are ready within 3 to 4 weeks of the brief. And it says we're looking for advertisers in North America and Europe who will launch campaigns November, December 2021 with a minimum ad budget that they don't mention. And it said there'll be flexible and fast approval and communication, and you have to be willing to be included in case studies and share product feedback. But given that every platform wants creators, and LinkedIn is paying some of them and providing tools, like I got a thing like you'll have access to all these tools, and they'll be free for 3 months, and we're going to help you. And every platform wants creators who can spread the word about their platform. So I think it's a clever move on TikTok, because I don't think brands really do explain it, but understand it rather. So I think that this is a helpful part of it.
Yeah, that seems like a big brand, an approach to attract big brands for big bucks for the retail holiday season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it'll work because, there are just so many brands that don't know how to use the platform.
Yeah, well, this is my next one is it was from Search Engine Journal's Roger Monti, and I've been bullish about audio marketing for a long time. We've discussed that for years now, beyond podcasting, but just optimizing audio for search. Given that we've got smart speakers, I have Google smart speaker, I have Amazon smart speaker, and people are looking for information through their speakers now and voice assistants. And so I've been thinking that this is something that we need to think about, optimizing content for those particular devices.
You've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, this is basically an article that says we don't have to do that. So in 2018, Google adopted the speakable schema for structured data. So this is a typical Google, right? They adopt a markup format schema that they get people who build web pages to implement on their web pages, basically code that you include with your content so that you highlight for Google that this is text to speech information that they can translate for their assistant. They get people to do that, and they gather enough data about how it's working. And then in this article, it's basically an interview with Martin Splitt, who's a developer relations at Google. And his bottom line is that Google's text-to-speech technology has gotten good enough where it doesn't need an assist from SEO people optimizing content for audio. But he ends it with going, but then what do I know? Things could change. So
Because it's Google and things do change.
yeah. So I mean, I do think that there's truth to that. Google has gotten a lot better at understanding stuff. And if you just optimize normally for search, you're probably going to be doing a good enough job for audio, for smart speaker and Google Assistant picking it up and translating it. On the other hand, I wouldn't abandon experimenting with stuff like including an audio file of a lot of websites have play this article instead of reading it, so you can listen to somebody reading it. I wouldn't abandon that if that's part of your strategy, because that's straight from the mouth. So if you've got your own authors reading their own stuff, that's probably a lot more compelling than having Google's text-to-speech translation doing it for you.
That's absolutely true. So that's it for my good news. So if you've got more, I'm only bad news from here on.
Yeah, I got a couple more, and then you'll fill out the back end with the bad news, because I only have one bad news.
Okay.
So we'll balance each other out. My next one is Campaign Monitor's John Peters. There's an article about what does iOS 15 mean for email deliverability. We've talked about this, iOS 15 implementing the do not track notification when you download an app, and you're asked whether you can, if you want that app to track you or not. Most people are saying no, and as a result, email open rates are all messed up. The bottom line for this article is the iOS 15 changes it doesn't appear that they're affecting deliverability, meaning that emails are still getting sent to people on iOS. It's just that the open rates are all messed up. And so you need to start thinking about how you're measuring the effectiveness of your email campaigns beyond open rates, because anybody who opens up an email on an iOS device using Apple's app is going to be counted as an open regardless of whether they've actually opened the email or not. So you can't depend on that, especially if you're doing nurture campaigns that are triggered by open rates. That's really going to affect them. So the nice thing about this article is a nice little graph about the actions that subscribers take that indicate whether there's engagement or not, positive or negative. On one spectrum, in the positive category, there's replying to emails, there's adding your email address to their address book, there's opening, clicking, especially, and that's the thing that I'm focusing on email marketing now, is getting people to click, because that's something that you can actually identify as a solid action that people take, right? The other thing I would say is the positive things is putting your emails in a folder that they've created for your content, that it's an indication that they think it's valuable enough to create a folder for. Taking it out of spam if it ends up in spam, and putting it out of spam, that's another indication, a positive indication that the content's valuable to them. On the negative side, or the neutral side, is actually delete. The negative side is unsubscribe, obviously. Hitting spam is negative, obviously. Leaving unopened. So I have a lot of newsletters that I subscribe to that I don't open a lot of them. But when I want something out of them, I'll search my inbox, because I know that they cover that topic or that industry or whatever. So that's not necessarily, for me, that's not a thing that I don't find valuable. It's just I don't look at it day in and day out. But that is an action. So anyway, we'll put this chart in the show notes for people to think about their engagement and how people react to their emails, and how that creates more visibility in the inbox. And then my last one here, and the best, is from Reagan's Kelsey Raymond, who writes about 4 content strategies that fuel recruitment. And so one of the things with the great resignation and job labor shortage, there's a lot of people, yours truly included, who are having trouble finding talent to fill open positions that they have. And I've talked just anecdotally, I've talked to a lot of people who are having this problem, clients that have this problem. So you got to think beyond what you're normally doing to find talent to get them. So his four categories are basically content marketing stuff. Use your company blog to educate prospective employees. Contribute to external publications to widen your reach. So bylined articles in industry pubs that are likely to have prospective employees reading them. Send content directly to recruits. I was like, I don't know about this one. I don't know that I'd send somebody an email that I'm planning on interviewing with. Here, read this. Maybe include links in the email where you're scheduling the interview and see if they read it. And I don't know. Use social to stay top of mind. That makes a lot of sense. I'd add to this though. Rewrite your job descriptions, because most job descriptions are template job descriptions. They list the responsibilities and requirements, but beyond that, it's just, it's you've seen one job description, you've seen 100. I am trying to hire for either a digital or a senior digital marketing person, and I took our job description and added a couple of paragraphs to try and generate excitement about the job, right? Beyond just this is what you need to have, and that's what we're looking for, and focus in on the personality type you're looking for. So I'm going to give you an example of my job description that I added on to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. You relish identifying a client's most important organizational objectives and creating an integrated approach to help solve those communication problems. You're just as fulfilled executing a strategy as you are creating one, because you recognize the need to deeply understand tactics you recommend. You're curious to a fault and are at risk of going down a rabbit hole in search of answers. From content to conversion, you are in your element when analyzing analytics and reporting metrics to the client. You're self-directed, but take great satisfaction from working with teams of like-minded, talented individuals, because you recognize the talent you are surrounded by only makes you better. So that gets at one, this is the type of job I want to do, and yes, I'm that type of a person, right? So those are the things that I'm looking for. Somebody's really curious and potentially, at risk of going down a rabbit hole. So if you can help people self-select and identify who you're looking for in your job descriptions, I think that would help. The other thing is recording testimonials of your clients, from former employees to feature on your career's website, asking existing employees to share your job openings with colleagues and on their social channels, and then obviously offer a bonus to your existing employees for new hires that they refer.
Well, and
Tough out there.
all of those things make a lot of sense, but I think that what really does make sense right now is, decent policy for time off. We want you to have a work-life balance because that's what people want. I saw a really wonderful recruiting page yesterday on BarkBox, which is a company that has gone public, and basically you order a box of toys and treats every month for your dog. So, of course, you're going to bring your dog to work. We have all these things. We want you to have, great work-life balance. I think that people are looking for a cultural fit as much as anything else. Obviously there are reasons why they call it work. We're not going to go play, but, there have to be some benefits. I'll never forget when I was that person and all of a sudden some person decided that we shouldn't have our ping pong table anymore, because we weren't having, I don't know what we were supposed to be doing, but that was like one of the things where you could blow off a little steam for a few minutes. And those kinds of things make a place like where you'd want to spend your time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Free snacks, that's a big deal.
That is a really good point. And we have a generous PTO policy, and the cultural aspect is real, but really hard to. So also part of the cultural aspect and the work-life balance is hybrid work environments too, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have that too. But in terms of the cultural things, it's hard now when everybody's mostly virtual to demonstrate that, right? It's hard to to illustrate that what the culture feels like when most people are not in the office most of the time.
Well, yeah, but it can still be done, I think.
Yeah, I'm just going to be creative about it is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm on to bad news, right?
Yes.
I think this is really outrageous. Arby's, who are known for their roast beef sandwiches, which I will never know about because I don't eat roast beef, but they have developed French fry vodka. And it's made in Minneapolis, Dave. So this is an article from the Connecticut Post, because Connecticut is one of the states where you can buy this vodka. And the article is by Leon Griffin. So Arby's is releasing two French fried flavored vodkas. One is original curly fries and the other is crinkle cut fries. And it's limited edition, and they're based on potatoes, of course, because it's vodka. And they're made by a Minneapolis-based Tattersall Distilling.
Oh,
And
Tattersall. Okay.
yeah, the curly
Right.
fry vodka is distilled with cayenne, paprika, onion, and garlic. And the crinkle fry vodka has kosher salt and sugar. And they're in limited quantities. And you can find out more about them on arbysvodka.com. You have to be 21 plus. You can be in California, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Florida, Idaho, Louisiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, Oregon, West Virginia, or Wyoming. And each bottle, get this, is $59.99 plus shipping and handling.
So what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? What the
Yeah.
world needs now is French fry flavored vodka.
I'd try it. I don't think I drink it regularly, but I definitely try it. Sounds interesting.
You pay $60 for a bottle of vodka. I don't know what
Tattersall
alcohol costs.
is a very popular distillery here in the Twin Cities. So I might try it just because their name is on it. So the power of brand. Two, there is like peanut butter flavored whiskey.
I don't drink, so I wouldn't know this stuff.
Well, I've tried
Peanut
it.
butter
And
flavor, how was it?
it's surprisingly good. I would not have imagined in all the world that would be at all good.
What was it? Was it scotch? Was it vodka? What
It was
was
Jack
it?
Daniels, I think.
Peanut butter flavored Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
Give me a
and
break.
cinnamon flavored Jack Daniels too.
That I could see.
Like hot, spacey
Yeah.
cinnamon. Yeah.
That I could see, but peanut butter, I don't know.
I was completely skeptical, but I'm like, oh my God, this is actually good.
Tell us your bad news.
All right, from curly fried flavored vodka to peanut butter and cinnamon flavored whiskey to apples, specifically Apple, the company. So Apple is secretly buying Google ads for high value apps to collect potentially millions of dollars in subscription revenue. So they are competing against they're buying ads that are competing against the apps that are in their app store. In order to direct people to get their apps from the Apple App Store rather than from the developer's website. This is from a Forbes article by John Cozier.
That's dirty pool.
Tell me about it.
Wow.
So, we're quoting from the article, iPhone apps that offer subscriptions to go to ongoing services can route payments through Apple, or if they have multiple means of delivering the service, can charge customers on their own websites. If apps take the default path and charge customers on Apple's platform, Apple takes a 30% cut of the first year revenue, an ongoing 15% cut for every subsequent year. If businesses like Amazon or HBO sell an ongoing service to their own on their own websites, however, they can bypass the Apple fee and collect all of the revenue. So this is why Apple is competing with these subscription services, so that they are directing people directly to their app store rather than going to the HBO website to sign up for HBO, for example. So one, they're taking a cut out of that revenue. Two, they're upping the cost of the advertising for those advertisers. So HBO, if that's having Apple compete against it for its own ads, that's upping the cost of the ads as well. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nasty. I have to say that's nasty. So, earlier I'm talking to you about TikTok creators. And so Instagram, which is of course Facebook, tries to lure TikTok creators with a $10,000 bonus. They're upping how much they'll pay creators to post reels, which is Instagram's answer to TikTok, and some users possibly being paid up to 10 grand for a single post. So this is from an Ad Age article by Erica Wheelis. And Instagram announced the Reels bonus program in July when Meta CEO Zuckerberg said the company would be paying $1 billion to creators through 2022. But the new Reels program isn't entirely clear on what factors determine how much of a bonus you'll get. The bonus program also deflates content because it has watermarks and other from other social media platforms. It discourages users from reusing like a TikTok video and the program is still in its early stages and it's being tested, and bonuses are only available in the US, but basically Facebook's trying to poach creators from TikTok.
So is it an exclusive deal? Do you have to post only on Instagram and not on TikTok anymore? Is that what they're trying to do?
It doesn't say that, but I would guess that that would be the goal. I
Yeah.
mean, really.
Be careful what you wish for. I mean, talk to Joe Rogan. Not that I really care about Joe Rogan, but since he went to Spotify, he's apparently lost a lot of audience as a result of that exclusivity deal.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear
Good
that.
for him, though.
So there's an interesting article, actually. This is from the New York Times, and it's about how podcasts have become the Wild West of the airwaves because podcasting platforms don't do anything to stop the spread of conspiracy theories on their airwaves, even though they might say they do. So this is from a New York Times article by Tiffany Sue and Mark Tracy. And, audio platforms have charismatic hosts. Those people have millions of fans. And during the pandemic, a lot of people started listening to podcasts because, hey, we needed company and somebody to listen to, wanted to hear somebody talking. And what people got was a hefty serving of vaccine misinformation. So what major social media platforms like YouTube and Twitter and Google are and Facebook, they're claiming that they are attempting to remove this kind of content, and major audio companies don't appear to be doing that. So for example, even after this is incredible to me, even after several anti-vax hosts died of COVID, their shows are still available for download, and the ones who are spreading conspiracy theories are still on the platforms that gave them an audience to begin with. So Sylvia Chan Olmsted, who's a media professional at the University of Florida, said podcasts may be more effective in spreading false information than social media because people who go to podcasts have more active engagement, and they don't just read, they're really involved. So a recent survey from a national research group found that 60% of listeners under 40 get their news primarily through audio, and that's a type of media that they say they trust more than print or video. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, well, Karen Rodgers is going to be playing for the Green Bay Packers this Sunday, so talk to the NFL about that as well, about vaccine misinformation or disinformation.
Unbelievable. So shiny objects, got some?
Yes, indeed. Airmeet. So Airmeet is a virtual event platform that I had the opportunity to run through the paces this past week. It allows you to basically, you can hold a conference, virtual conference on it, which is what I was involved in. So speakers from everywhere. It's basically Zoom on steroids. You have conference rooms, the ability to brand the backgrounds. They have support, so you can get support for managing a lot of the logistics of the day of. Like if you have videos that you want to play that are pre-recorded, you can get one of their support people to slot those in, or your branding for different sessions, have that person slot them in. The person will help with technology glitches, which can occur. But it's if you've attended a virtual conference, you'll recognize what they have to offer. They're keynote speakers, panel sessions, booths you can have for sponsors, networking tables where a group of people can video chat, and/or one-on-one networking, kind of like Clubhouse. Was it Lunch? What's the name of that one?
Lunch Club.
Lunch Club, yeah, that we talked about in previous episodes. A lot of different things. I was very impressed with it. They have tiered pricing, so you can get a free version for up to 100 registrants, and then there's a $249 a month version for ongoing social webinars. And then if you want a custom conference, you can get pricing on request for your needs there. But really impressed with what it had to offer, and there you go.
So you're saying you got free tech support on the free program?
No, this was not a free. What I did, what I was involved in, was not a free version of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
they bought extra tech support. But if you
Oh,
get a
okay.
small, if you get a small meeting that you need
Mm,
for, the free version should be good enough for for most people's
most things.
purposes. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So Clubhouse has finally launched room recordings that can be downloaded and they can be used on other platforms, but honestly, so what? Too little, too late. And so you're able to put links in the I just think that it's too late. But they did that. So I'll put a link to what they say about it. And then I have this one's adorable, and I have a picture uh, for the show notes. Google Arts and Culture, which always does such wonderful things, has a pet portraits app. And so you take a photo of your cat, your dog, your turtle, your ferret, whatever, and it finds one that's just like it in art history. So I took a picture of Lucy, and they compared it to one by Goya, although Lucy's far cuter. But the Goya painting had a dog that was kind of like Lucy in the same position with a similar background. It was really kind of funny.
Um, so what, you upload your photo to it and it gives you?
You take a photo right from the app, like it
Oh,
asks for
okay.
access to your camera. I took a picture of Lucy, and then it matched it with a historic art photo, and
I'll
it'll do it for any animal. You could do it with your cats. I mean, it's
I will
hilarious.
definitely try that. I will note, BL, that Google Arts and Culture is your go-to source for shiny new stuff.
Well, because it is, they do such great
They do.
things.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. Yep. So I got a project here, and it is related to Airmeet because this is what my experience was with Latino Lead Conference. So the Latino Lead Conference used Airmeet as their platform for hosting the conference. I was had a small role to play in helping make this virtual conference happen. It was a 2-day event that happened this past week. 2-day virtual conference on Latino leadership, specifically in Minnesota. Dolores Huerta, civil rights icon and labor organizer, was one of the keynotes. She's amazing, 90 years old, and dropping wisdom bombs all over the place.
I love people like that.
Yep. Baseball legend and Timberwolves co-owner Alex Rodriguez was also one of the speakers. CNN correspondent Omar Jimenez, who's a very engaging personality, but most people will know him by, he was the guy who got arrested in Minneapolis on air during while reporting on the riots following the George Floyd's murder. And so a bunch of other people were involved. I believe you can go back now and get tickets to watch the playback. But it was a fantastic experience, a really top-notch, stellar cast of speakers, and for Latinos interested in up-and-coming leaders, it's a great conference. For others that are Hispanic curious, it's a great experience for that as well. So we'll put a link to it in the show notes for people to check out.
So I do have a smile.
Let's, let's have
This
a
is
smile.
This is hilarious. This is he calls himself a dude with the sign, and this guy stands on street corners in New York, and he has just a cardboard sign, and he holds it up. And my favorite one, this article in Nature World today has 50 examples of his signs, and about half of them are hilarious. But my favorite one is, "Yes, Netflix, I am still watching." And the other one, and this is so true, stop asking for my credit card for a free trial. And he just stands there. And there was another one that says, $15 for shredded lettuce is ridiculous. And they're standing outside a salad shop.
That's hilarious.
He's so funny. So I have some examples. There's 50 examples in this article.
All right, so makes me want to go carry signs now.
Yes, Netflix, I'm still watching. I love that.
Let's wrap this up with some stats. This is from Litmus by Megan Lee, who writes on the some of the highlights of their annual state of email report. This is for 2021. They surveyed 400 marketing professionals about their email strategies. And here we go. 70% of brands have increased email marketing workloads, but budgets haven't changed yet. But fortunately, 37% of brands are increasing their email budget in 2022, and only 1.3% are making cuts. That was nearly the opposite at the start of the pandemic. 55% of marketers are missing out by rarely or never A/B testing. 43% of marketers are changing how they measure email performance because of Apple's mail privacy protection. 24% aren't making any changes for now, and 23% still aren't sure what they'll do. So a lot of ambiguity in how to approach that issue in particular. But we'll put a link to the report in the show notes so people can get the full report if they want it.
That is really interesting. So guys, in case you missed it, I interviewed Drew Simon about using an cryptocurrency for good, and the thousands of projects that are going on around the world where cryptocurrency is being used by some of the largest nonprofits and used in very innovative ways. And given the media negative twists on most of the reporting about the crypto industry, this is something that fascinates me and that I want to learn more about, and I think you'll find them very interesting. So that brings us to the end of episode 366 of the Beyond Social Media Show. And to find us, you just search Beyond Social Media Show or ask your smart speaker to play us. And links to everything we talked about today, including the videos and the original articles, will be in the show notes on our blog, beyondsocialmediashow.com. I'm here with the ever charming David Erickson. On Twitter, he's D Erickson. On Instagram, he's DE Erickson. On YouTube, he's eStrategy, and he blogs at the wonderful eStrategyblog.com. I'm BL OCHMAN. I'm What's Next on Twitter. I occasionally blog at what'snextblog.com. I got What's Next blog on YouTube, and blochman.com is my website. The show again, beyondsocialmediashow.com. Twitter is at BS Media Show, because we don't always take ourselves totally seriously. And you can listen to the Beyond Social Media Show wherever you get your podcasts, anywhere that you're going. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're there. And we'd love you to subscribe and comment and review. Thanks.
Thanks for watching.